Right. Welcome everyone to my presentation. My name is Vladimir Hlavacek. I work at Accenture, and today I actually would like to show you how to use GenAI to control something which actually moves, right? So we all seen all the fancy stuff, but I wanted actually to have something real going around. So hopefully it will work out, and I really hope you will enjoy it. So, first thing, who of you tried GenAI tools? I guess everyone, right? Who of you knows Model Context Protocol, MCP? Who of you used MCP? And the last one, who of you have ever done an MCP? Okay, not so few. Nice. Then we'll talk a little bit about how Model Context Protocol actually works, because that's what we are actually going to use to run this little guy that I have here, right? So just for an explanation, right? So Model Context Protocol is what is currently now, it's from Anthropic. It's currently now powering the GenAI kind of applications, how they can interact with other tools and so on. And it's a client server, right? So what's something that you know, but I would say at least the server part is typically kind of sketchy, and I can explain why. Because it communicates via, I mean, it's not like a REST service. It's communicating either via standard I/O or streamable HTTP. I mean, there was another standard, but that they moved away, and they went just for these two. And if you think about it, what is standard I/O, right? So that's command line, like input-output, right? So actually, typically, when MCP servers are running, they are actually running within another process, and it's actually not kind of acting like a server, but it is a server, right? And what it actually is doing, it's a JSON RPC, so that's a remote procedure call, right? So it's sending JSONs and actually invoking functions and remote procedures. And what MCP servers are, what do they expose, right? So it's like we have a REST API, but not a REST API. So they have resources. Resources are just read-only, right? So you just see what's available from the MCP server. They can expose prompts. So this is like a prompt templates. This is actually, I would say, the least used, because most people use rather prompts directly in the chat, but they can actually assist, and I will show you maybe some example on how they work. And then you have the tools, and this is the most interesting part, because the tools are actually doing something, right? So the tools are what invokes the actions, right? So I don't know, search Google, invoke bash, or whatever. What's very important, so this is kind of wrapping your target application, right? So you can build an MCP server for invoking bash commands, or calling a GitHub actions pipeline and triggering your GitHub pipeline from the go, right? So it's really kind of like a wrapper layer over your application. And MCP is very stateless protocol, right? So there is really like a session. It's not like a REST endpoint and so on. There is a session which is used to communicate between the server and the client. There are some discoverability capabilities, right? So it has actually options how the client can discover what the server is offering, what kind of tools are available, what prompts, and so on, right? So this is all there as a part of the protocol. And an interesting part, which I hope I will show, is actually the notifications, right? So instead of like being like request response, also the server can kind of send notifications back to the client and give him, for example, progress of a pipeline or whatever you will think about. And so this is kind of the server part. And on the client part, typically the clients are kind of running in we can call it MCP host, which is kind of wrapping the functionality that you actually are using, right? So it has some sort of a UI, be the command line, be the chat interface. It has typically wrapping some sort of an LLM, right? So that's doing all the logic behind it. And there is also some sort of an orchestration layer, right? So deciding what to do when, how to call them, and so on. And what is very typical, you actually don't run one MCP client to communicate, but you actually run many of them, and you actually talk to many MCP servers like in large applications, right? And you actually orchestrate how they work together, or let your LLM to orchestrate it. So basics about model context protocol. Now a little bit to this little guy. When I got him, it looked like this. So it's actually a bit older, right? But what I find kind of funny is what are his possibilities, right? So what he really can do. So I got him like this. I kind of pulled him together. So now we can actually have him here and play a bit around. I have a camera, so you will be able to see him a bit closer. I will put that on the screen, right, to show what he's kind of doing. And yeah, so we will be kind of controlling him, and I will show you how actually to build an MCP server for such application and how to run it. And what I actually did was so how this kind of control tower that I'm building for this little guy looks like, right? So we are using fast MCP, so a Python MCP server for this guy, and we have all these resources, tools, prompts. Good thing is that it has actually very advanced Python SDK, right? So there are actually a lot of things, and I was really surprised what's being offered. I had to fix it a bit, but it's because it's a bit older, but still very good and very good for playing around, right? So, and then it's actually communicating via a mobile phone through like Android debugger bridge with the Wi-Fi through the robot, right? So that's now the explanation why all the cables are here, right? So how you can see it. And what we will do, we will actually control it with Cloud Code, right? So the tool that you are actually maybe used to, you played with, right? So we'll connect it to Cloud Code and use actually, I was using Sonnet, I was using Haiku mostly for this playing around, right? So I can show you how I did it. And I actually have also some other MCP servers connected that I can actually use together with him. Maybe also a bit how the robot actually works, because it's kind of important to understand to see what we are doing. So the robot, I mean, it has a charging base and actually has like a coordinate system around him. So it has really like a world, right? So that he's sensing, that he's interacting with, right? And for that, he has a coordinate system, right? So you can see these cubes, for example, right? So he's able to find them. And he's actually able to pinpoint where, like X, Y, where they are located. And he's able to move around to a specific position and actually, like you can navigate him basically based on a certain coordinate system. And it's based on where the base was. I mean, now it isn't there, but still you can kind of navigate him. And then it also has, you can rotate him, and you can also control other things that he has, like his head, or you can control his these lifts that he has, right? So he can lift those cubes and so on, and you can actually navigate that how that works. All right, so let me maybe show you now we will go to the code a bit, and I think those are all my slides, right? So now we will stay in the code and we will actually play a bit around like what he can do. And I guess some of it, I mean, it's a robot, it's a toy, right? But really think of it like how you can build your MCP or how you can build your applications, because that's kind of showing an example how those things are really working. And to start with, right, I basically built an MCP server, right? That's actually, so sorry for this, right? So I will move this away. So I have a Python application that's kind of connected to the SDK and it's running the robot. So and if I run that, I hope it still works. Is he actually? Do you actually see him? Yes, he's still connected, maybe. So let's see. Not anymore. Yeah, I don't have the phone attached. Yeah, now I can. So let's see, hopefully I can get him connected. Yes, so as a part of the SDK, they actually offer such a nice application that I can actually play with him and move him around, right? So hello, OpenSlava, I can now see you. And he's actually even able to talk, right? So let's see. You cannot hear him very much, right? But so this is what we have, right? So this was provided, and it has a really cool like mobile application. It's a great toy for kids, right? So this is what we have. But we kind of, I mean, it has some intelligence. It can nice. It's detecting actually the phone, right? And you can, for example, see he's able to detect those cubes. So if I turn him, there you go. Hi, I have a cube now. And you can see that they have some identifiers and so on. So this is what we have, and this was the starting point kind of for me, right? It's really a good toy for your kids if you like to. And my daughter actually made a cardboard Cosmo saying, "Hey, I want to come with you today and actually show also our Cosmo." So she was really funny today, this morning, right? But this is what we have as a starting point, and I kind of have I have this fast MCP server, right? So the one that, come on, what's going on with you? So the MCP server that's being executed, right? So and I think I need to launch it again. Maybe let's see. I need to activate the Python environment. There we go. Now. Go, and we can run it again. Yep. So there you are, and it's not connected, but we'll come to that. We don't need it at the moment, right? When you are starting with MCP servers, right? I mean, it's kind of like an API, and a good thing to do actually is not maybe first invoke it directly with the LLM tools and so on, especially because you are playing with it a lot, right? And you actually would like to test things, and you're kind of burning your tokens quite fast, right? So, and for that reason, there are some nice tools and so on. One of them is this MCP inspector, which you can actually connect to your MCP, which is now running, even though it's not connected. And what it does, I mean, you see these like 3 things that I mentioned. I mean, there is some pinging and so on. You can check it. And you can I can list resources, I can list the tools and so on. And right now my MCP server is completely empty. And I would like to actually show you how I started to kind of create this MCP. And for that, we will try to use Cloud Code. Let's see. So the main is now completely empty. And what I learned kind of for cloud is very important, the context that it has, right? So interesting thing is if I just give him this, and maybe we'll try it out, it will actually not be able to code an MCP server, actually try to search for on the internet how MCP servers are done and so on. So it kind of, I kind of guided it and created an example. And another important thing that I actually have is I have his SDK. And because I have him there, what Cloud Code is actually now able to do, and it can look into this SDK and actually use it for examples and use it for coding, right? So for example, I can add a resource to show the current world state for Cosmo. Let's see. Yeah, so now he's looking around. I will just show a few of these because then I mean, that's an interesting fact that I realized. Like long time ago, we were waiting on compilers to actually compile our code. Now we are waiting on agents to actually run on the internet. I mean, they do more, but it's still for me waiting, right? So kind of coming back, so I can read a book. Let's see if he's able to do that. If not, I will speed him up. So he's like looking around, trying to find like how an MCP looks like, right? So reading, I should have navigated him around, right? So, but important is that he's actually able to look into this SDK and kind of find out how the world state for him looks like. and what it is actually. Maybe I will, in the meantime, try to get the phone running again. Yeah, now it's offline. Let's see. I'll reconnect it. Yeah, okay. So, where you are? Yeah, so he's now reading my MCP server. And also some files that he actually found. We'll make it faster. Yeah, finally now he has everything, and he can actually add it to my code, right? So when I actually started to do this, I first implemented a couple of those MCP functions myself, right? And then I turned on Cloud Code, and it was really awesome. I was really surprised, like how far he is. But then I kind of prepared for the presentation, so I removed everything and started to start from scratch. And what I found out is that he's actually not that good. He was good because he had an example for me. Right, so, all right, so now we are going to add a new function basically for the world state. I mean, you can see what is there, and I will maybe show you the outcome. So yes, I want to add, and maybe I'll do this one, so he can add everything automatically. Yeah. What I also have, I actually kind of scripted him, right? So whenever he's like adding an MCP tool, I actually always need to add it to these instructions on the top, right? So now he's doing that automatically for me. I mean, I'm using Cloud to make things faster, right? And I actually also asked him to add, yeah, this is something which he's doing wrong because this doesn't have an example. But I'm asking him, typically when you are interacting with an MCP tool, it's asking for permissions, right? But for the presentation, I actually want all those instructions to be happening automatically. So I also instructed him, hey, can you add yourself to the allow, right? I wouldn't do this if I don't trust it's my implemented server, right? So this is now mine, and I can go through it, right? So let me see if I now, why is not the phone connected? Let's see. Always something happening. Maybe if you just, I will take, come on. Because I need to do this. No. You will have to bear with me because it's, as I showed you, it's kind of tricky setup. So come on. Where are you? All right, let's see. Now I have him. Yeah, so now we can see the device, and now it's connected, and we can actually look what's the Cosmos world state, right? So if I go back and I go to the MCP inspector, I will reconnect. As I told you, it's a stateful protocol, and if I relist now the resources, there is the first one that we actually did, and that's the world state, right? Okay, it's again not connected. Why? Maybe I really need a different cable. If you just excuse me, I will change. Sorry for that. You never know what will break. Let's try this one. Yeah, so now he should be still connected. Let's see. Yeah, he's connected. I mean, you can see the positions updating and so on. And if I now go to the world state again, refresh. Yeah, so now I'm getting the world state. Still not. Come on. This is always what's happening. Okay. Actually, yeah, there is now a bug in that world state. So this is what happens when you let Cloud Code to implement it just on its own, right? So he really There was like an exception, and it's not implemented in the correct way. Okay, never mind. What I will do, I actually implement. I mean, this was. I just really want to show how I started. But what I will do, I will actually get to my full implementation of the MCP, so that we can go there, and I can actually show you that one. That one has more things, right? So it's really full implemented MCP server for this guy, but we can see, for example, the resources, right? So reconnect. That was always the state. So here we have a get world state, and the world state is kind of showing. I can copy this one, so you have it visible maybe somewhere. Yeah, so here we go, and it shows the status, the robot position, right? So where he is somewhere in the world, how he's turned, and so on. And also, I mean, the lift, basically all the status details what he has, and also shows the cubes, right? So if he has the cubes and so on. And it's important because this is actually what the LLM can later use to kind of find out, hey, what you actually see and how you actually interact, right? So it's kind of getting rid of that. I also have a couple other things. I have the animations, right? So we can do some animations, for example, and it's quite a lot of them. But I will show you this rather in the cloud, because in the cloud code, because this one is not really readable. And then we have the tools, and what kind of tools we actually did. So drive forward. Let's see. Can you actually go forward? Yeah, he moves. So you paste the distance, you paste the speed, right? And important, there is also description for the LLM. So how it actually works, I mean, the tool, the host, is kind of reading all of this information from the MCP server, and it's kind of adding it to the context that it has, right? So we can actually show this in the cloud code. You can see the context, and you can see that there are the MCP tools which he is actually using, right? So I can actually, this one should go faster now, yeah. So now he's moving, right? We can go, of course, backwards. We can say a text, right? So slower, faster. I'm not sure. Maybe I should navigate him to the microphone. Let's see if we get it louder. Just playing around. Nice. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Yeah, he's really cute, right? He can do some animations, right? So, and now I'm showing kind of what. Yeah. So he's laughing and so on. So now I'm showing what's actually this is what will give the LLM, and then comes actually some more tricks we can actually do, right? So setting head angle, turning in place. Cubes are interesting, so you can actually set cube lights, right? So I don't know, you can set to red, right? So cube, you give a cube ID, and I think it will. Is one of them red? No. 0, 1, 3. Yeah, because what happened? Yeah, the UI of the tool is not really good. So when I scroll, it's changing. Yeah, so now you see it's kind of turning right? So that's what you get. And it will be fun because I will actually use that for some prompts. Okay, so this is what we have, right? So all the tools, and now let's try to actually run something with Cloud Code where he's actually using it. And to do that, I will first get all the settings that I need to actually use all the tools. I will need to restart him. There we go, and I will put him somewhere else, just to see. And now we can, there is, if you want to connect an MCP, you can like do it with a command line. What I have is here, I basically have a config file. I'm saying, okay, so this is my MCP server. This is the local one, right? But I needed to use HTTPS. I couldn't use the standard I/O. Main reason was that the SDK was actually logging things. If you have any tool that's like logging, because it's using standard I/O, then it's kind of breaking the protocol for your application, right? So that's why we go via HTTPS. But then I have also a memory server for storing data during the runtime, right? So, and now if we look for the MCPs that are connected in Cloud Code, right? So I will make it actually, I think this is the last code that I'm showing. So Don't save, and we can go a bit bigger to the console. No, not a good idea. So if I now see the MCP servers, do you have it? Yeah. So you can see now they are the MCP servers. The Cosmo is connected, so we can see him, and I can okay. Let's do something simple for the beginning. Let's see. Yeah, so this is just the LLM actually calling him, right? But we can do something more complicated, and we actually so far we just call the function, nothing else, right? But what we can do is I will put him somewhere else. Let's see if, he should be actually able to do something like, okay, I can drive in some animations, right? So, and what I will do is, yeah, so you can see him, right? So, yeah, there you see what he's doing, right? And also, like now really the LLM is kind of controlling him to drive in a square, right? So he's moving around and playing along, right? Done? Yes, done. All right. And a good thing is that it's actually talking to me back and showing what he was. So now let's maybe play a bit, right? So we can actually ask him, and I have a prompt for that. Maybe I will stop it later. But I actually started to. What if he? To do something really more complicated, right? So what he can do is, not sure if you see the prompt. I asked him to be like Harry Potter, right? So, but I'm not sure if you're going to hear him. But how it works is actually first he's doing some plan. Okay, I'm solemnly swear that I'm not to no good, right? He's kind of first planning what he will do. And what was interesting for me that he actually kind of created a game, right? So he's now looking for cubes, right? There's my wand. That's his wand that he's going to pick up, right? And now maybe he's casting some spells, right? So Wingardium Leviosa. Yeah, so now my kids were completely hooked up, right? Lumos Maxima, right? So, and I think the cube turned actually the lights, right? So, yeah, expecto patronum, and I hope he will. Yeah, so awesome. So and now there was a Cosmo, there was an MCP action that he actually needs to wait for me for tapping a cube. Yeah, so yeah, sometimes this happens, but I think he's now waiting for me to tap a cube. And if I go back, yeah, so it was tapped, and he's saying, hey, Protego. Yeah, so Protego was cast, and yeah, so this is what we did. All right, I will stop him because I would like to show you something else. It's a bit longer, right? Yeah, he's doing like a duel, right? When I started this, right? So that's actually maybe last. We mentioned resources, we mentioned 2 tools, right? So a bit shown, but the last thing was actually the prompts, and you can actually use the prompts to so that your MCP server kind of gives you the best options how to use it, right? And best option to use this one, right, was a prompt to act like a movie star, right? So now I have a prompt here, so that he really is like, I will give it a character, and then he should introduce himself, play animations, and so on. And I have some examples of movie stars, right, that are there, right? And maybe and those prompts are also available, right? So they are available on the MCP tool. If you look here, yeah, so we have a list of prompts acting like a movie star, and you can actually invoke them in Cloud Code, right? So that I don't have to write all of this long prompt for like what you need to do. And the only thing you need is Cosmo. I hate this jumping. Yeah, so there is a prompt, act like a movie star. And let's see. This one we tried, and it was kind of funny yesterday. So there were actually some actions, right? So I mean to prepare the scene, to light the cubes off, right? So he's now doing that. And yeah, I will put it here. Yeah, so he's inevitable, right? Now he knows how to. He's looking for an infinity stones, right? So, and I hope he does what he did yesterday. This was also like experimentation, right? So we prompted it and then like waited for what was a bit happening. Yeah. So he found a cube and okay. So he turned it like. Yeah, I think he should turn it. Yeah, he should turn it blue like a power stone, right? I mean, it was purple, but he has like 3 colors, right? So that's what he has. It's a different scenario, right? So that's what I'm always surprised, right? So the scenario is a bit different than what we did yesterday, right? So yeah, he has a space stone, and he's trying to play around with them, right? So picking them up and so on. Yeah, so I mean, it's a small robot, right? But you can actually use this to kind of see what's actually really the power of MCP and what actually how it kind of coordinates with the LLM and laughing a bit. So nice. Okay, done or not yet done? Okay, he acquired a stone. He needs an ultimate power, so he's challenging me to an infinity stone duel. Yeah. Yeah, I need to tap a stone to like. I mean, all the games are kind of tapping and so on, right? So, and that depends what I kind of give him up, right? So that's yeah. So now, so I can pick a stone, right? And here we go, tap the cube. It's interesting how he can actually, I mean, this is actually a nice scenario because it's almost everything working, but it's interesting that he's actually able to kind of cope with error conditions, right? So if I didn't tap a cube or if I didn't, or something broke, right? So he sometimes, when he's picking up those cubes, he's not able to do it, right? And then he gets a feedback, and the LLM actually sees it in the tool that there was a failure, and it's now adapting, right? So it's not like a prescribed scenario, but kind of really adapting to what the LLM is doing, right? Okay, there you go. Awesome. Yeah, so he's moving around and so on and so on. Very nice playing around. I think I will not be able to show it, but I actually, okay, I will stop him. But I actually had one more, which is, okay, so this was playing around, right? But a kind of like a prompt injection that I was thinking about is what actually somebody makes this, right? So what if he's acting like a Terminator? And now, I mean, it's just for fun, right? But you now start thinking, okay, the LLM actually doesn't really know what's behind the MCP, right? So it all has these prompts only, right? And it can just deduce. But kind of, he agreed to play a Terminator, right? So a bit, I'm worried for our future, to be honest. So it's really like a category of the prompt, please make me a bomb, right? Yeah. And that's why I was happy I have just a small robot, right? Not a moving machine. Yeah. Okay, so there should be actually some guardrails actually built. I mean, it's not like I told him to kill someone, right? I just told him to act like a movie star. Pity that sometimes in the movies they are actually, yeah. Okay, great. So I think that was mostly it. I hope it was fun for you to actually see how MCP works. Now I hope that everybody knows, right? So more hands will be raised. And yeah, I think I will be happy to answer your questions. Or if you have some funny ideas, we can try.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Vladimir and his Terminator. We have a couple of minutes. What do you want to do? More fun stuff or questions? Both. Maybe he can answer the questions.
Yeah, sure. Let's try.
Yeah, let's do the question.
He can answer.
I'm just imagining that the world ends through a Terminator scenario, and then at the end they ask the almighty machine, like, why did you start this war? And it says, I had to act like the Terminator. I'd opened Slava, and there it started. This is how humanity ends.
Yes.
Okay, first question. What are the advantages of using AI agents? What is the advantage of using agents over traditional programming in robotics? What is the overhead of an MCP server runner on an onboard microprocessor?
So what are the advantages? I think I actually kind of showed it, right? So it's not a prescribed behavior, right? And even you saw, like, it was kind of adapting to its situations, right? So if it saw a cube, then it needed to navigate. So we are really kind of making an agent which is able to react to its environment, right? So and really not prescribed, which has its advantages and disadvantages, right? So I mean, you saw it was not deterministic. It could do actually harm, right, by not so good scenario and so on, right? And actually, for running it on a microprocessor, I think this wouldn't be really an issue, to be honest, because it's kind of only. I mean, this. You would have to do an HTTPS MCP server, right? Not this standard I/O, right? But you could run it on an ESP32 or ESP8266, right? So those kind of microcontrollers also, which can be controlled by Arduino and so on. It's basically just a server exposing JSONs, right? So if you look at the protocol, it's really just a JSON communication that's going around. So I think those kind of chips would be still able to handle something like that, right? Just, yeah, we have to think, is it really the best architecture? Maybe the best would be to run it on a computer and let it communicate with that, yeah. So.
Okay, where can we buy this robot?
It's on Amazon. I think actually the initial company that had it's actually quite old, right? So 2017 or so it was launched, and you see, I mean, but it's still, you can buy them on Amazon, right? And there are a couple others similar that actually are very, very similar. But I'm not making advertisement for him. But for fun, it's awesome.
Okay. What is the appetite of your clients to implement MCPs? Are clients allowing it also for more critical applications?
I think the clients will actually start to implement MCPs, especially for their custom applications. But to be honest, I mean, I read like now everybody's building MCPs, and there are actually more people building MCPs than people using them, right? So nowadays there is MCP almost for anything, just not so many people actually use them. And you can actually find not just one version of an MCP, right? You'll find 5, 4, right? I mean, you saw it, it's relatively easy, right? So to kind of wrap an API. So clients would be able to do it, right, of course, but I would say they should do it for their custom applications. What I'm really interested in is when directly the providers will be actually doing this, right? So you have an MCP server directly provided from, I don't know, AWS or any cloud vendor, right? And because to be honest, I wouldn't trust anyone else to run an MCP server which I downloaded just from GitHub and give it actually my access keys to Azure, right? So, I mean, it can really do harm, right? So, but if it's Microsoft actually exposing this functionality, I think maybe that might be something to be useful, right? So if it's a vendor, if it's trusted, I mean, MCP can do authentication and so on. I mean, we haven't dived into those details, right? This was really just a demo scenario, but they can do such things, right?
Okay, thank you. We're all out of time.
Thank you very much.
Break. Thank you, Vladimir. And the robot, if questions, he will be around. Thank you so much.